Hi there, this is Vicky from Puzzles and Purrs. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to share a new puzzle, and it is Smoky Mountains National Park. I'm going to be reviewing this puzzle, and there's also going to be a fun time lapse. So stay tuned after the review for the time lapse of Smoky Mountains National Park. So let's get started. This puzzle is a White Mountain puzzle. It is 1,000 pieces, and it is by David Maclean, who is one of my favorite artists. And a fun little story about this puzzle. There's actually a few interesting stories about this puzzle. I actually got this puzzle while visiting the Smoky Mountains. So I wanted a little souvenir of my trip there. And I always like to look for puzzles as souvenirs. And I was looking through, we were in a toy store actually. I was looking through the different puzzles they had and stumbled upon this White Mountain puzzle, which I did not have in my collection. So I was really excited to get it. Now, I wasn't planning on doing this puzzle as soon as I ended up doing it. I am swapping this puzzle for a different White Mountain puzzle today, actually, at a puzzle swap. And that puzzle's called, I think it's called Little Bookshop. I will share it with you when I do my puzzle swap haul. But I prearranged the swap and I really wanted that puzzle, Little Bookshop. But every puzzle that I had finished, the person who had that puzzle had already done. So I needed to go into my collection of puzzles I hadn't done yet. And they had not done Smoky Mountain National Park and they were interested in it. So that is why I did this puzzle next, because it is getting swapped today. Okay, a little bit about the puzzle. First of all, there was not a lot of puzzle dust in the puzzle. Um, the pieces were more of a loose fit. With this puzzle, it definitely would not have passed the pickup test. And this was a brand new puzzle. This was first time it was ever done. But yeah, I find that even with the same puzzle, like you might have a copy of Great Smoky Mountains National Park and you might have a tighter fit, but this one was a looser fit. So I think it just varies on where it comes in the production. But yeah, this was a looser fit puzzle, would not pass the pickup test, but the puzzle dust was actually kind of among the lower puzzle dusts I've seen amounts in White Mountain puzzles. So that was good. Let me tell you about the border. Oh my goodness, the border. The border was a nightmare. You will see in the time lapse how long it took me, though I don't know, it's a time lapse. You probably can't tell how long it took me because everything looks super fast. But I had to call in reinforcements. My 15-year-old daughter with the good eyes, who's like some puzzle savant, but actually doesn't do puzzles, she had to come to help me straighten out the border, which was just a mess. There were a lot of false fits in. There was a lot of like all this green was the sky on the border was fairly easy. The green was not. So we did the border. She came and helped me out. I have the border, I'm working the puzzle. As I'm sifting through the pieces to work different sections of the puzzles, you'll never guess what I come across. A border piece. Now, this is very curious to me because I already finished the border and to my eye, it looked perfect. No, it was missing a piece. So I could not figure out where it actually went. It was one of these green pieces down here. So once again, I called my daughter to come help, and she shook her head and fixed it and walked away, mumbling about how she can't believe I didn't know how to do that. But, I am a slow hobby puzzler. I'm not a speed puzzler. I'm not the best puzzler. I enjoy puzzling. I find it relaxing, but the border, not relaxing at all. Then let's get into the rest of the puzzle. There were certain things that were kind of easy. I started with, gosh, is it awful that I don't, let's go with moose. Moose, is that guy a moose? I don't know. If he's something else, an elk, I don't know. If he's something else and you know exactly what he is, please leave it in the comments. I'm not an animal expert, but I started with him because he was pretty easy. Actually, I may have started with the sign, which was very easy as well. The bears were kind of tricky, but not as hard as I thought. So I think I did them relatively soon too. The roof was something I got done early. The sky was actually not as bad as I thought. I'd say where I struggled the most on the puzzle was the green area here, a little bit here. My husband worked the house in that portion there. So I wouldn't say this is one of the most enjoyable White Mountain puzzles I've done, because I kind of rate enjoyment by not how easy the puzzle is, but how frustrated I get during the puzzle. And there were times I got pretty frustrated with this puzzle, especially because I was in a time crunch to finish it by today. I finished it last night, and there were times where I didn't think it was going to happen. So there's a bit of frustration with this puzzle, but if you like images like this one, and like, it's just gorgeous, isn't it? Though I have to say, there are like hikers there and campers there, and I don't know, maybe they're not experienced hikers or campers, but who is setting up shop? Like, there's bears, they're right there. Like, I don't know if they've built a fire right there, and the bears don't care. They're just like, yeah, this fire's keeping us warm. So yeah, when I looked at the puzzle, I love the image. It's a beautiful image, but I did have to wonder about the hikers and what they were thinking. So I'll show you inside the puzzle. I've already bagged it in a Ziploc bag, because that's what I do when I swap it or donate it, so the pieces, don't scatter and you lose anything. But this was the poster, which is beautiful. And here are your pieces in the bag. And you can kind of see the size. They're a really good size. As usual, White Mountain puzzles always have the same size pieces. They're thick, they're sturdy. So that's the puzzle. And I give the image 2 thumbs up. Love the image, amazing. I give the puzzle 1 thumbs up, because once you had to puzzle the image, for me, it was kind of challenging. But if you like to be a little challenged and you love nature scenes and you don't have a fear of these people getting mauled by bears, then you would probably give this 2 thumbs up. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and enjoy the time lapse. Thank you for joining us, as always, on Puzzles and Purrs. Bye.